Sometimes otherworldly beings find interesting ways to try and contact you. They might capitalize on your use of a Ouija board, or maybe come to you in a dream. Or sometimes they speak through another person. They each have their own style and preference that's particular to them. The one who confronted Jack spoke to him through his computer, or more accurately, via on-screen text. The first time it happened, Jack was seated at his PC, playing solitaire. A blinking red light from the router indicated that his internet connection was down again. This was a near weekly occurrence, and Jack simply made note of it and returned his attention to his game. That was until the screen abruptly went black. A moment later, red text appeared. Jack wondered briefly if he had been hacked, or worse. Then he read the text, and everything changed. "Hi, Jack. I need a favor from you. You're a very special person, and I know you'll help me. I can't ask this of just anyone. I'll really need your help." Jack was thoroughly confused. The router light was still blinking red. He couldn't help but wonder if he was on the receiving end of some sort of joke. As if in response to his thoughts, the message continued. "I know this is weird, but I don't want you to worry. Jack, I have just a small, easy favor to ask. I'll make sure you're rewarded." Panic-stricken, Jack reached and pulled the internet cord completely from the wall. "Still here, Jack? I don't want to waste any more of your time, so I'll get right to what I need. Tomorrow, when you go to work, I need you to move the large potted plant that's next to the elevator on the ground floor. All you have to do is pull it out 3 inches from the wall. If you do it at 8:17 a.m., no one will see you, and none will be the wiser." Jack sat back, shaking, unresponsive, trying to figure out what was happening. The writing continued. "Look, Jack, I'm asking you because I know you'll do it. You won't let me down. You're special. We'll talk tomorrow." This time, Jack pulled the power cord itself from the wall. The red text blinked into oblivion. For a moment, Jack wondered if he was dreaming. Still reeling from the experience, he took a warm shower and got ready for bed, all the while trying to convince himself that he'd imagined everything, or that he was the victim of some elaborate joke. But he wondered, who would play that kind of joke on him? He kept mostly to himself and didn't have any friends or enemies to speak of. He woke up the next morning feeling refreshed. His shift started at 8:30, and Jack was never late for work. Each day, he pulled into the parking lot no later than 8:10 a.m. Normally, he'd just go right in, but the message had told him to move the plant at exactly 8:17 a.m. Was he really going to do it? Overnight, Jack's fear had mutated into curiosity. What was the harm in doing as he was told? So what if he moved the plant? It wasn't wrong or illegal. The most reasonable course of action then, in Jack's mind, was to move the plant. Jack made up his mind. He do it. He would move the plant 3 inches from the wall as requested, and nothing would happen. Then he'd be able to put this whole crazy matter behind him. 1 minute before 8:17, Jack left his car and walked towards the building. He entered the foyer at the exact time he was supposed to. The message was right. The office was unusually quiet. Jack found that odd, as the building was normally busy this time of morning. But the temporary lull had been accurately predicted. Jack took a deep breath and made his move. He walked up to the large potted plant placed firmly between the two elevators in the lobby of the 10-story building. The plant was clearly fake. The same decorative office staple that dozens of people pass by daily without realizing it. Jack was surprised by its weight. He put some might into his effort and repositioned the plant as asked, then stood back and admired his handiwork. He turned and cast a glance around the lobby. People were coming in behind him and the lobby was starting to fill up. No one seemed to notice the plant was out of place. Nothing seemed different at all. Jack skipped the next elevator and waited for something to happen. But nothing did. Finally, Jack entered the elevator and made it to his 7th floor cubicle, on time as usual. Jack's co-workers, if asked to describe him, would likely refer to him as polite, quiet, respectful, and competent. What they failed to realize is that Jack didn't care for other people all that much. That's not to say he disliked anyone. Rather, he had very little interest in getting to know them or being their friend. All except for one. Allie, the girl 2 cubicles away, was the sole exception. Smitten by her beautiful smile, natural blonde hair, and slender figure, Jack was very interested in getting to know her better. In spite of his poor luck with women in the past, he seemed to be making progress with Allie. Every morning as he passed her desk, he'd stop by for a chat. Their conversations lasted only a minute at first, then 2, and grew from there. Jack was pleasantly surprised that she actually seemed to like him. On this particular morning, as usual, they spoke briefly. While conversing about Allie's wild night out, the elevator doors opened up behind them. Out hobbled James Bentley, their boss. A moment later, everyone in the office was startled to hear Bentley shouting and cursing in pain. Allie was quick to inquire, "Oh my gosh, what happened, Mr. Bentley?"
It's my foot. That plant in the lobby. Someone must have moved the stupid thing. I ran straight into it and twisted my ankle."
Bentley winced twice, each time his leg touched the floor. Allie rushed to his side to offer her assistance.
"Mr. Bentley, sir, let me help you. You can barely walk," came Allie's concerned reply. "Do you think you'll need to go to the hospital?" No can do. Meetings all day. Too important to cancel. I'll just have to tough it out."
Jack left Allie's cubicle mid-conversation and sunk down into his chair, stunned. It was his fault. He was sure of it. For a moment, he wondered how could he have been so stupid and careless. Still, he reasoned, there was no use in worrying about it now. The damage was done. Besides, a twisted ankle would heal. Everything would be all right. Upon his return home, Jack went immediately to his computer and turned it on. As soon as the screen booted up, the screen went black. and a new message in the same familiar red popped up. "How was your day, Jack?" He sat there staring at the screen, unsure how to respond. The message on the screen continued. "Actually, I know how your day was, but never let it be said that I'm not polite. You're wondering what's going on. You want to know why James Bentley had to twist his ankle. Well, Jack, this chain of events isn't done playing out. I don't want to tell you too much too soon, but this will all make sense to you in short order. Just go to work tomorrow like you normally do. Don't worry about a thing, Jack. You'll be rewarded. You're special. Talk to you tomorrow." Jack sat back in his chair. What is going on? Who is this sending him messages? Jack was curious, perhaps even a bit excited, to see what would happen next. The next morning, at work, everything was business as usual. Jack noticed that the plant had been pushed back fully against the wall, probably by the night cleaning crew. James Bentley showed up shortly after lunch, hobbling into his office on his one good foot. "I tell you, my foot is killing me," Jack overheard him say. But apparently, his boss had a meeting he didn't want to miss and wasn't about to let injury get in the way of that. Jack didn't see Bentley again until 3 p.m. when he was spotted limping up to Allie's desk. "Allie," Bentley asked, "you're not doing anything right now, are you?" No, sir. Nothing that can't wait until tomorrow, I guess." "Good. Could you please drive me to see my doctor? I probably should have gone yesterday, but I just couldn't get away. I'm pretty sure I broke my ankle. I barely made it here this morning, and driving is practically impossible. We can take my car if you want." "Yeah, of course, Mr. Bentley. I don't have a problem taking you." Turning to Jack, she said her goodbyes. "See you tomorrow, Jack." Allie put on her coat and trailed behind Bentley as he struggled down the hallway. She gave a half turn and a shrug in Jack's direction, flashing him a smile as she walked away. Watching her leave, Jack began to realize just how much she meant to him, and he was determined to ask her out to dinner when she got back. A few minutes later, the entire office overheard the blaring of a semi-trailer's horn, followed by the sound of screeching brakes, and lastly, a sickening metallic crunch. Even on the 7th floor, the collision was loud. The office workers gasped and ran to the windows. A colleague gasped, Is that Mr. Bentley's car?"